Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome to another impromptu episode of the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. As you can see, I'm not in my normal area. I am actually visiting New York. Um, I'm originally from New York, so I'm at my mom's house actually. A quick live stream from here. I was doing some bourbon hunting, some whiskey hunting, and found some really cool bottles. So I found one in particular I want to share with you guys. Let's see, who do we have in the chat so far? Hey, Bird Dog's in the chat. How you doing, buddy? Nice. Thanks for joining. So tonight, oh, hey, Dwayne. Dwayne's in the house. How you doing, buddy? So this is my makeshift setup for a quick hour. I had one of my T-shirts. I brought my mom a T-shirt to have, and these are some of the cool whiskeys that I found while I've been here so far. So what I'm going to do is actually go through this one right here, which is, as you saw from the preview, which is the Heaven's Door double barrel whiskey from Bob Dylan. Excellent audio quality, by the way. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, not bad for a makeshift setup here. So we're definitely going to go through this a little bit. And another one that I found I want to go through too, which I haven't had in a very long time, is old Baby Saz. So I want to talk to some tasting notes with this too, which should be pretty cool. So let's see. So Bird Dog from Florida. All right, so far we got 3 in the chat. Hopefully we'll get some more in here. That'll be fun. What are you guys sipping on tonight? Anything good? Oh, the Dan Trout is in the house. How you doing, buddy? So I found this when I first got to New York. So the reason why I picked this one is I tried the bourbon already, and it really wasn't, anything special. It was pretty good. It wasn't great. But the double barrel whiskey, is actually something that is supposed to be pretty good, probably the best of the 3 between the bourbon, the rye, and this. So I wanted to uncork it and try it out and see how it tastes. So let's see, who do we got? All right, Santa Cruz is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Dan Trout, Bird Dog sipping on Lefroy 10-year. Woo! I'm not there yet, buddy. I'm hopefully gonna get there. For those of you who haven't heard yet, I'm going to be doing all September. I'm going to be trying all scotches. I'm going to be starting with Monkey Shoulder and working my way through trying some probably some more mild scotches like Balvenie. I think some Glenfiddichs, and then working my way into the space sides like the Sherry Bombs, Macallan, and some of the other stuff. So should be a fun ride. I'm going to hopefully work my way into some Highlands that have a little bit of smoke. And then eventually, when I do another month, maybe continue and hopefully get into the peated scotches, which, like I said, I've only had one, and I didn't even know what I was having, and it kind of blew my mind. So let's see. What do we got here? Wayne, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. The Dan Trout is drinking late 70s Old Taylor. Wow, how does that one taste? Dwayne Large is drinking Blanton's. Very cool. I saw Blanton's here in New York. I went into a store, and it's crazy how the prices are so different. I saw Blanton's in 2 stores. One had Blanton's for $100, and another store had Blanton's for $120. So they really like to jack up the prices here. But this guy was a nice $50, so it wasn't too bad. Let's see. We got Pressman in the room. How you doing, Press? The Dan Trout. I love the old stuff. Yeah. I have a bottle of Ancient Age back from the early 80s. I believe it's 82. It was one of the bottles that so Freddie Johnson down at Buffalo Trace, his dad was still the not the distiller, but he was still working at the distillery at Buffalo Trace when they were distilling that. So I'm kind of holding on to that one. But it definitely has like that old dusty flavor to it, which I really like. I don't mind it at all. So let's see here. The bearded beer man's in the house. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining the chat. So I'm gonna open into this. So a little bit about the Heaven's Door. So for those who don't know, this is Bob Dylan's collaboration. So these guys are actually distilling their own stuff, which made me more curious about it. So they made the stuff in collaboration with Bob Dylan. They kind of talked to him about it, and he had a lot of input into the design of the bottles. So this stuff here is, so I don't know if you guys know, but Bob Dylan creates these gates. He welds, he does a bunch of stuff, and he makes these gates for these really high-priced homes. I think it says on here, so this is actually one of his, some of the stuff that he uses. So he goes around the country and he finds all these different old materials, pieces of iron, ironwork, shovels, whatever he could find, and he creates these gates out of them. So that was the emphasis for the artwork on the front of Heaven's Door. So let's see what's going on in the chat here. What's up? Good evening. Dwayne Large Blanton's here in Indiana is 70 when you can find it. Yeah. One of the, like I said, one of the great things about Ohio is that everything's MSRP, but a lot of stuff doesn't normally come into Ohio. You get, you'll see Bland's every now and then. If you could get it, it's only like $50, which is great, but just not a lot comes into the state. So, so a little bit about this guy. So this is, it's 3 different comprised of a blend of 3 different whiskeys. This stuff here. They double barrel the finishing process. It's hand toasted, new American oak barrels for secondary aging. That's aged for another year. And then apparently after that year's over, they bottle it. So this is 100 proof, which is a great proof for, $50, which is great. Let's see who I got. Santa Cruz and hoping the Heaven Door is good. Yeah. So me too. I've heard really good stuff about the double barrel whiskey. For those of you who joined a little bit late, I had kind of prefaced that I did try the Heaven's Door straight bourbon whiskey, which was okay. It wasn't anything terrible. It just was nothing that really kind of stood out. I would still take Wild Turkey 101 over it, but this seemed pretty unique, and so I wanted to try this one. So let's see here. I took some notes. So this is actually created in Kentucky. I'm sorry, not Kentucky, in Tennessee. So, but it's not considered Tennessee whiskey because they don't use the Lincoln County process to, like Jack Daniels or Dickel. Dwayne Large, yeah, good price on the bottle. Yeah, it was. It is really cool. I like it a lot. Let me see what the. Yeah, so welded iron gates that so Bob Dylan, like I mentioned, he makes these welded gates in his studio at his home. But apparently he charges, I'm sure, an exorbitant amount to get a gate built by him and then put in the front of your house. So I'm going to call him and ask him to make me like a little tiny gate so I could have to like get into, I don't know, something in my house. I don't know what. So I get some more info for you guys here on this. So the name of his company is Black Buffalo Ironworks. If you guys want to take a look at it and look at the, what he actually creates. He uses farm equipment, children's toys, kitchen utensils, antique firearms, chains, cogs, axles, and wheels to create these gates. So as I mentioned, 3 different whiskeys, finished and toasted, new American oak for an additional year and bottled at 100 proof. So let's get into it. Oh man, this cork's really in here. Woo! Well, that one didn't want to come out. Let's see, Dwayne Large, you're a Dylan fan, yeah. I love Bob Dylan. So, all right, so gonna pour a dram here. I don't have my regular Glencairns, these are my mom's glasses. So here we go. Get a little bit, but actually you get a good nose on these. So I had some bourbon last night and it was pretty good. So the cork definitely want to go in. Oh, there we go. All right. Now it's in. All right. So let's go in for the nose and let's see if this lives up to the hype. And hopefully, like I mentioned, hopefully this is as good as the song Knocking on Heaven's Door. So we'll see. So it's pretty strong alcohol up front. I mean, being 100 proof, that's kind of what you smell first. I'm gonna let this kind of swirl a little bit. Really good. So it's very spicy on the nose. It's got a good spice to it. It does smell. It's very, very oak forward. It's a lot of wood on the nose. And now it's getting a little bit sweeter. It's very chocolatey on the nose. You got a lot of like dark chocolate. Pretty good. That smells good. Now you're getting like you're getting a cherry or a raspberry. The longer it's opening, the sweeter it's getting. So far, so good. I have high hopes based on the nose. And now we have cinnamon. You're getting that brown sugar flavor in it. Oh, really good. It's got an interesting nose. All right. See, Bird Dog, it seems to be going for 55 in Central Florida. Yeah, Bird Dog, that sounds about right. I mean, this was 50 plus tax. It was almost 55. Wasn't bad. I think they're all I think the rye was the most expensive one, I think, out of the three. Not sure why. But out of the three, like I told you guys, the three that I saw, or the three that I read up on, this the double barrel was kind of rated the high one. And already on the nose compared to the bourbon, this one is way more interesting on the nose. All right, guys. So, like I said, chocolate, brown sugar, a little bit of cherry, chocolate covered cherry, but it's really chocolate. It's got some cinnamon on it. So, all right, guys. Cheers. Happy, what is this, Wednesday? Happy Wednesday. Here we go. Ooh. All right. It's sweet. A lot sweeter than I wished. Let's see. A lot sweeter than I thought it would be. But good. Question, Jeff Knapp. Sorry, I missed the beginning. Where did you find them? Jeff, I'm actually in New York visiting my mom and, doing I always do a little bit of whiskey hunting while I'm here. So there's a Total Wine here in Westbury, Long Island, and I found Heaven's Door. So as I mentioned to the chat, I've had the regular bourbon, but this one was actually rated the best out of all three. So this is the one I wanted to try. So let's go in for that second sip and see what we get. Wow, it's really interesting. It's vanilla and fruit up front, but then as you finish it, it's turning into a whole nother flavor profile. It's you definitely get some wood there. It's almost minty. That makes sense. A little bit minty. It's got a nice fit to it. It's pretty long. It's about, like I said, it's 100 proof, so it's definitely got the burn to it. We're going for another. Yeah. It's it has like a baked bread flavor to it. After all that sweetness, it's got pretty good flavor to it. I got to be surprised. I'm pretty surprised with it. It's really good. I definitely like it better than the bourbon. I'll tell you that much. Um, let's see, Santa Cruz, and I think the rye is the one you saw, and it was $65 here in Cali. I have to look for the double barrel. Yeah, I think the rye is the more expensive one out of the three. I'm not sure why that is, but maybe it just took longer to create. But I will say that, as I said, this was the best rated out of the three. And Heaven's Door, they're making their own stuff. They're making their own juice. They're distilling their own stuff and aging, barreling, doing everything on their own, which I thought was really cool. Normally, a lot of the new distilleries that come out, they're obviously sourcing from MGP or elsewhere. I'm going to go in for another sip here. Starting to get a little bit sweeter even on the nose. Yeah, so this does not have your typical bourbon flavors. You don't have the corn and the caramel on there. This is more, you do get you get a little bit of vanilla, but it's not as to the forefront as like a bourbon, and you don't have that corn flavor like a bourbon. This is more dark fruit, cherries, a little bit of brown sugar. The finish is definitely wood. You get some mint in there even. It's really good. I definitely like it way more than the bourbon. It's definitely more complex than the bourbon, for sure. Let me see here. Yeah, it's really good. I like it. So I would say, guys, if you're ever at the store and you come across this one, I would definitely pick this one over the bourbon, without a doubt. Like I said, 100 proof, double barrel. It's a blend of 3 different whiskeys. It's got a really nice flavor profile. It's not bad. I like it. And for 100 proof, it's you're definitely going to feel it. You could sip on it. It's really good. Let's see. That's way cool that they're doing it all in-house. Pretty rare these days. Yeah, Santa Cruz, and I agree. It's a lot of them are doing. So I actually went on the website, and I was looking at the kind of who's doing the distilling. So the guys, let's see. So this is the inaugural trilogy of whiskeys were created by Ryan Perry of Heaven's Door Spirits and master distiller Jordan Villa. They're still collaborating with Whiskey Maker to create new expressions. So I think one part distilling. So probably doing some distilling, but getting some other whiskeys to round out their product. But pretty cool. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a really good whiskey. Now I'm trying to think in my mind what I can compare it to kind of help you guys. So I would maybe say to compare it to a more if you put some more oak flavor into maybe Michter's American, because Michter's American is pretty sweet to me, but if you put some more wood flavor into that, I think that's what you would kind of get. Might be pretty close to that, which is pretty cool. I love Michter's American. I'm a big fan of it when I could find it. That's really good. See, now as I keep sipping on it, it's getting a little bit sweeter. Yeah, now it's really easy to drink, a really nice sipper. This is a really good whiskey. I'm impressed by this. It's good. like I said, $50, really cool looking bottle. You could turn on some Bob Dylan as you drink it. Not too bad. All right. So now what I'm going to do now is go to something that I haven't had in a really, really long time. And I haven't really been able to find it in Ohio, but I found it here. And that is Baby Saz. Speaking of ryes. So I'm going to try to get into this a little bit and see if I can remember some of the flavor notes that I got this. I thought this was just a really sweet, easy drinking ride. And I really wanted to have this again and also, grab it when I could. Dan Trout, some traveling wheelberries. Yes, the traveling wheelberries. So let's get into some Baby Saz a little bit. All right, here we go. So now we're going to some Baby Saz. You're gonna see how this tastes. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna finish my Heaven's Door a little bit. I'm really enjoying this. This is good stuff. Way better than way more complex and interesting than the bourbon. I can't say I've had the rye, but I've heard okay things about the rye. But this is definitely, I think, worth the $50. I think it's got the alcohol proof and it's also got enough complexity where I think you would want to keep sipping on it. So, yeah. So, cheers. Let's see who else in the chat here. Richie Z. Thanks for dropping by. Bourbon Shenanigans. How you doing, Mike? Nice to see you, man. For you guys that just came in, I just tried some Heaven's Door double barrel whiskey. As a quick review, this is 3 whiskeys blended together, finished in New American Oak. And it was really good. Really, it's at 100 proof, and it's a really good mixture. I was getting a lot of chocolate, cherry, vanilla, and then on the finish, it was actually almost a little bit minty. It had a nice, decent, long finish, but it's a really good whiskey. I really liked it. So, out of all the 3, between the bourbon, the rye, and this, I definitely would say if you could find this for $50, then yeah, definitely try it. It's really good. All right, so now we're gonna go into, like I said, the Baby Saz. See how this is. I haven't had this in a while. All right. So I'm gonna let that open up a little bit. Before we get into Baby Saz, I want to show you some other things that I picked up today, or picked up over the weekend. So I found this guy right here. This is Kings County Distillery. This is their bottled and bond bourbon, which I've heard amazing things about. So this was behind the glass case at Total Wine, and I was able to open it up, and I grabbed the bottle. So I'm gonna get this. I'm not gonna open it here. I want to get this back to Ohio and do a full kind of review of it. Should be awesome. And then I got this one, which is the Yellow Rose Distilling Company out in Texas. This is in Houston. This one, I heard a lot of great things about this. So this whiskey, this is an Outlaw bourbon whiskey. This is 100% corn. But they say this is a mega amount of complexity for a 100% corn whiskey. So I'm really curious about that. I'm a big fan of the Balcones Baby Blue. So really kind of curious to see how this is. Bourbon Shenanigans. Let's see. Where are you? So I'm in New York, Mike. I'm visiting my mom, and whenever I come to New York, I do some bourbon hunting, and I found some pretty cool bottles to get back to Ohio with me. So, yes, this is the Outlaw bourbon whiskey, and I don't know if any of you guys are watching the distillery opening down in Austin with the Magnificent Bastards and over at Crowded Barrel with Daniel and Rex, and the Scotch test dummies had called out that this was one of the better things that they had tried. So they only had one bottle left, and as soon as I saw it, I grabbed it. Oh, there goes my shirt. And just because I wanted to, I found the old label of Elijah Craig Small Batch. So just this random liquor store had this, so I grabbed it. It was pretty cool. This might be stay as a collector's bottle for myself. Yeah, so yeah, this was like my makeshift setting here. I'm gonna fix my shirt here. Santa Cruz and Yellow Rose whiskey sounds great. The dummies had that at the tasting. Yeah, that was one of the ones that Scott was saying how good it was. That was one of the ones that really impressed him. So they had a couple of other bottles from Yellow Rose, but they were sold out. So I was glad I was able to get one of them. And this was, and the corn, the Outlaw one was probably one of the better ones. It got really high ratings in a lot of different judging and tastings and events all across the nation. So I'm really excited to get into that one. But like I said, I want to get that one back to Ohio with me and do a proper review of it. Should be great. Bourbon Shenanigans statement on the back. Statement. Let's see. So, distilled and bottled by Yellow Rose Distilling in Houston, Texas. Is handmade and pot distilled in Texas, made from 100% corn, and aged in special small American oak barrels. Outlaw Bourbon breaks traditional bourbon laws, just like the outlaws of the Old West. And it says aged at least 1 year, and the age statement is really, really, really tiny. So I don't know if you could. So here's all the fine print, and that small, tiny, tiny fine print is where it says aged at least 1 year. So that's where you could see it. That's the back of the bottle, guys. Let's see. Dan Trout, what Four Roses do you have back there? So that is just a single barrel. So what's great is I got my mom, who's sitting over there in the living room. I got her hooked on bourbon a little bit. So this is her journey, guys. So she went from Angel's Envy, and then after Angel's Envy, she was sipping on that for a little while, and then and then it started becoming too thin and too sweet for her. So then she just goes out and buys Henry McKenna. And now Henry McKenna is her super favorite. But she's tried Elijah Craig. She's tried Four Roses single barrel is also one of her favorites too. But Henry McKenna is still kind of in her top tier. She hasn't tried that bottle of Colonel Taylor yet. So I'm really curious to see what she's going to think of that one. Yeah, Jeff, I have a lot of reviews lined up that I can't wait to do. This Kings County one, I love this bottle. It's such a simple little bottle, cool label. But this is their bottled and bond whiskey, distilled right here in Kings County, New York. So I'll read you a little bit of this on the back here. So it says, this bottled and bond craft whiskey is distilled, aged, and bottled by Kings County Distillery in Brooklyn, New York, according to their strict federal standards. This whiskey is exactly 4 years old, and this is batch 5. So, I mean, if you could see the color in this, it's pretty dark. So I'm really looking forward to reviewing that. And also the Yellow Rose, as I mentioned. And this old Elijah Craig, I'm just going to keep just because it's the old label. I don't know if I'll ever find this again. Let's see. What do we got here? Yellow Rose was great in Austin. Saw a few bottles here in Indiana, so going to pick one up. That's from Brian. Yeah. This will be my first kind of experience with Yellow Rose. But after kind of hearing from the Scotch test dummies and Scott and reading some reviews, that particular Outlaw bourbon is supposed to be really good. So definitely grab it and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. Let's see, Richie Z, have you tried Mellow Corn? That's the only other 100% corn whiskey I know of. Yeah, Richie, I think my second live stream I ever did, I tried it for the first time live online. You could go back and watch my reaction to that, but I actually thought it was delicious. It's 100 proof. It was sweet. I mean, obviously, it just tasted like candy corns to me, but it had a really nice alcohol burn to it, and it's like $12. So you really can't go wrong if you could find it. It's not bad. The only other corn whiskey I've had, as I've mentioned, has been the Balcones Baby Blue, which is blue corn, which definitely has a different flavor profile than yellow corn, but equally as sweet and pretty delicious in its own right. Dan, some of the Four Roses stuff is my absolute favorite. Yeah, I love Four Roses. I'm hoping and praying I could get my hands on some of the limited edition barrel strengths coming out next month. So we're looking forward to that. Dan Trout, is there an age statement on the back of the Elijah Craig? Let's see. True small batch. No, there is not. I'm looking. Let's see on the front. 94 proof. Nope. Oh, this is just the old label for the small batch. So no age statement on it. Let's see. Shenanigans nice. I love those medicine looking bottles too. Yeah, Jeff, they're really cool looking. So also, before we get into the baby Saz, guys, I want to make a quick mention. So tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon at some point, I'm going to be posting my my second mashup. So is my blind mashup between 4 barrel proof bourbons that I picked, the ones that I've been sipping on the most. So it's Elijah Craig barrel proof versus Woodford Reserve batch proof versus Stag Junior batch 10 versus Booker's Backyard Barbecue. So it was all those 4 going head to head, and I did them blind. Didn't know what was in each glass. So that's going to be posted tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to you guys watching that. It was a surprise, like the order of things, how was surprising for me. So, but no more spoilers. I want you guys to watch it. It was great. It was probably one of the funnest blind mashups I've done. Brian, Balcones True Blue was really good. Same juice as Baby Blue, but aged 4 years instead of 2. Yeah, I really want to try the Balcones Cask Strength True Blue, but I think, is that, correct me if I'm wrong, guys in the chat, is that only available in Texas? Because I couldn't remember. I thought it was, but I really wanted to try that. Hey, Scott's here for my bourbon journey. How you doing, Scott? Nice to see you. Appreciate you stopping by. Let's see, Bourbon Shenanigans. Oh, yeah, it'll give you something to do at work. Yeah, you can watch the mashup at work. That'll be fun to do. I get a little loopy towards the end, so I tell you guys to watch it to the very, very, very end of the video. And there was something kind of stupid I did at the end. I just left it in, so you can kind of watch that. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, Scott's in the house. Bird Dog, I assume those medical-shaped bottles are homages to the bottle bourbon sold during the Prohibition period as real medicine. Yeah, absolutely. What's also scary is those are the types of bottles that they did before the Bottled in Bond Act was kind of enacted. So, they were calling some of that whiskey death juice or death whiskey because people were dying from what they were putting in the juice to give it the color of bourbon. That's of course before E.H. Taylor came in and, kind of helped, kind of led the way in creating the Bottled in Bond Act, which is really cool. Let's see. Yeah. So Brian, tried it in Texas. Don't think it's distributed to other states yet. Yeah, that's what I thought, Brian. That you can't get the True Blue Cask Strength in other states yet. So hopefully when I get to Texas, I can't wait to go. I ordered 2 bottles of the Eleanor from the Crowded Barrel Company, but they don't ship. So eventually, when I get to Austin, I'm going to have to go there and pick them up. And then if I do, I'm definitely hitting the Balcones Distillery. All right, guys. So going into Baby Saz or Sazerac Rye. Like I said, I haven't had this in ages. It's really hard to get in my area. So as soon as I saw it, I grabbed it. It was $30. And so 90 proof. You know, I know this is you know, it's a Buffalo Trace product. If you guys didn't know that, but you know, I know a lot of people use it for cocktails, but I think Sazerac Rye is really good just for sipping on neat. I really enjoyed it the first time, but it's been a while. So let's see here what we got on the nose. Yeah, we get those really classic rye notes. You get a little bit of the licorice, some dill. Mm, it's really good. Let me know in the chat what are your some of your guys your favorite ryes you like to drink. For me it's Rittenhouse bottled and bond rye. I love a good Knob Creek rye is delicious. Um, the Knob Creek cask strength rye I saw. I have to go grab that before I leave too. And also I'm trying to think of my other favorite rye that I like to drink. Oh, the Whistle Pig 10-year. The Whistle Pig 10-year. Not the 12. I rather drink the 10 than the 12. It's pretty good. So let's go in for so I mean this is a pretty sweet rye. I mean you could still smell the corn through the rye, I think. It's really good. Cheers, everybody. Oh, that's so good. You get just those nice, really quintessential rye notes. It's got a hint of that, like I said, the dill is on there. You get that nice rye spice to it. That's good. It's just as good as I remember. I really like Baby Saz. Michter's Toasted Rye is heaven. Yeah, I wish I could. I haven't tried that yet, buddy. It's you know, that's one of those ones that's hard to find. I'm probably gonna have to try to go to Kentucky to find that myself. Jeff Knapp, let's see, Santa Cruz and Knob Creek 115 proof. Yeah, ditto, Richie. Yeah, the are you guys talking about the Knob Creek single barrel rye? Because that stuff is delicious too. The only thing I think they're all picks, so each bottle can be pretty different, like most single barrels, but it's pretty good. Let's see here. Dickel Rye is good and inexpensive too. Yeah, Dickel Rye is that's actually a good call out, Bird Dog. That's Dickel Rye is one that I've had. I was really surprised by. The Dickel Rye was very good, and it's super cheap. Let's see here. That's not around here. I would love to try it. Yeah. Brian, highly recommend Eleanor. All four were great. 1856 was my favorite. Check out Oak Liquor Cabinet Store. They're a great owner and selection. Thanks for the call out. The first two versions of Eleanor, and I can't remember the years, were both sold out. So I got a bottle of each of the last 2 years that they have. I think it's 60 and 63, if my memory serves me right. Let's see. Dwayne Large, High West Rendezvous Rye and Double Rye. Yeah, Dwayne, great call. I love the Rendezvous Rye. The Double Rye is good, but I think I like the Rendezvous Rye just a little bit more. That one's really good too. Really good call out. Pressman Whistle Pig 10. I got to grab a higher proof store pick soon. Yeah, the store picks of the Whistle Pigs are actually really good. You'd be surprised at how different they are than the regular bottlings. And I think some of the picks that I've had for just the Whistle Pig 10, just the straight rye, it's been, I mean, you don't think it could get much better, but it really does. It's really good. If you can find pics of it, definitely get your hands on it. Richie's, I can't find another bottle of that in Michter's. Yeah, it was just announced, actually, Richie, that they are releasing the next version of the Michter's Toasted Barrel Rye is coming back this year. So if you go on the Michter's site, or I think if you look at Michter's on Instagram, they actually announce it that the rye is coming back. The Toasted Barrel Rye is coming. Excuse me, the Toasted Barrel Rye is coming back. So definitely keep your eye out for it. Let's see. Jeff Knapp got a Redemption bottle as a gift, but haven't opened it yet. Yeah. Redemption Rye. It's okay. I don't think it's anything that stands out. I actually would still probably drink this, or even the Knob Creek Single Barrel Rye. Actually, let's see, Bourbon Shenanigans, Mike, if you're still in there, I remember we were talking a little bit about the Knob Creek Cask Strength limited edition that came out. Let me know, what are kind of your overall thoughts about that? I've heard really, really good things about it. I've even heard people go as far as saying it's the closest thing to Booker's Rye that you could find right now, which is, Booker's Rye is like that, unicorn bottle, which I did try once. I had a pour in San Diego. It was a $250 pour, but I did not pay. But somebody got me a pour of that stuff, and it was absolutely glorious. Let's see. Yeah, I heard the toasted bourbon was coming back. Yep. The toasted bourbon's coming back, not the toasted rye. Okay. Yeah, I need to pick it up. Bird Dog, the dram is wonderful. Okay. Yeah, it's I'm really looking forward to grabbing that stuff, but hopefully I could find it. The Michter's toasted. So I think Michter's does some really cool stuff. One of the few Michter's I haven't been able to try or get my hands on is the Michter's 10-year. That a lot of Michter's does not come into Ohio. The only ones you get are the bourbon and also the bourbon and the rye. That's it. There was an accidental shipment of Michter's American that came into Ohio about a month ago, and I grabbed a bottle of that because you just don't see it very often. So, all right, back into some baby Saz here. Yeah. It's just such an easy sipper. It's got a lot of flavor to it. I know a lot of bartenders that use Sazerac in their cocktails, and I think it makes a big difference. It's really good. Awesome. Awesome stuff. So in my last live stream, I mentioned that Heaven's Door was being sued by Heaven Hill for, I guess they think it's copyright infringement, that it's too close, and the font usage. So I want you guys to picture the Heaven Hill label in your mind, regular Heaven Hill, the white or the green label, and then think, does it look anything like this? Because I don't think it does at all, and I don't really know why they're suing them. But apparently they are. So, but this is what they're suing about, is this text right here. They think it's too close to the Heavens Hill logo, which is really bizarre. Let's see, what do we got here? Gotta run, guys. Great seeing everything. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate it. Master Gentleman, Sazerac the same as Thomas Handy? No, I believe it's not. I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. The only ones I've had from the antique collection are William LaRue Weller and George C. Stagg Jr. The Thomas Handy, I believe, is a little bit different. Santa Cruz in the Richie Z. Let's see, the High West. Yeah, I don't think it's the same thing, buddy. I think it's different. Let's see, the High West Midwinter's Rye is awesome. Yeah, that's the Midwinter's. That's the I think that's finished in port. It's pretty sweet. The Midwinter's Night's Dream. I've heard there's some really, really good bottlings of that, and I'm looking forward to getting a bottle of that for the. I think it comes out in the fall, almost winterish. It is kind of a winter dram. It's supposed to have some really good, some spice to it. Are really good for the holidays and stuff like that. Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, let me see here. I'm gonna look something up for the for your question here, because I want to make sure I'm right before I say anything. So let's see, Thomas Handy. So So this is the Thomas Handy Sazerac Rye from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. So quick description: high proof rye of 5 whiskeys. Let's see, named after the New Orleans bartender who first used rye in the Sazerac cocktail. Aged in the 5th floor of the warehouse. Highly recommend with a drop or 2 of water. Okay, so it actually might be the same mash bill, but it's definitely the barrel management and how they age it is completely different. But it also says it's distilled and let's see, aged on the 5th floor of the warehouse. So let's see, Richie Z. Yes, it's good stuff. Richie Z, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the Midwinter's Night Dream or the Sazerac Antique Collection from Thomas Handy? Because I haven't had any of that yet. I wish I did. So like I said, a couple of let's see, what are we going on to 9:46? All right, so basically, to kind of round out everything, guys. If any of you guys come across Heaven's Door, the double barrel whiskey, definitely pick it up, try it. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's complex, it's got sweetness, it's got a really nice finish to it. I think you'll really like it. So with this one, I think Bob Dylan's Distillers did a good job. The bourbon, not so much. And the jury's still out on the rye. Richie Z, I haven't had BTAC Handy. Yeah, as I mentioned, Richie, I've only ever had the George T. Stagg and the William Lure Weller, and I think I've said William Lure Weller was the best bourbon I've ever tasted in my life so far. It was amazing. It was so good. And then what else I wanted to go over was look out for, when I get back to Ohio, I'm going to be doing, these will become the Kings County and the Yellow Roses reviews. But as I mentioned, September, I'm going to be doing strictly all scotches. I'm going to be trying to start my scotch journey here and jumping in and trying to get a little bit used to scotch. So I'm going to be starting with Monkey Shoulder, which I've had before, but it's been a really long time. Then working my way with kind of Balvenie, Glenfiddich. So basically my first few will be those, and then I'm going to start getting into some of the more sherried scotches with Macallan, Glengoyne, and Glendronach. So those are going to be kind of my first 6 or 7 ones I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to do a lot. So you probably see a lot of content from me, kind of figuring all these scotches out, which would be cool. Richie Z, George C. Stagg is phenomenal. It's amazing. George C. Stagg was so good. But there was something about that William Lure Weller from that antique collection. Just the flavor of it was just, it just like stayed with you for hours. You could just take a little sip and it just kind of stayed and didn't go anywhere forever. It was amazing. Let's see here. So I'll take one more sip of the Baby Saz here. Let's see, Brian, I still want to find a William Lure Weller. If I ever win the raffle for choice of bottles, I'd take that over Pappy any day. Brian, I couldn't agree with you more. I would take a antique collection over a Pappy any day of the week. I think the only Pappy for me that I would really want to try is the 15-year. I've had the 12 and the 10. The 12 didn't really blow my mind, and the 10 was just good bourbon. It wasn't anything that blew your mind. It was just a really good bourbon. But even though it's really not considered Pappy, they don't really call the 10-year Pappy. But the 15 I heard is phenomenal, and that's what I want to try. Then the 20 years that follow it, I've heard are obviously very good bourbons, but they're more wood forwards. But so if you like that, I'm sure it'd be amazing. Let's see, the Dan Trout, what year did you try? The year I tried the Pappy was 2016. So the 10-year in 2016 and the 12-year in 2016 are the two that I had. They were They were just samples that I got, 1 ounce little samples, and I actually like the 10 or the 12 just because the 12, I think the 12 in my head I had more higher hopes for, because I feel like 12 years, that really kind of like magical spot for bourbon, but it just really wasn't. I don't know, maybe it didn't exceed my expectations as I hoped. But I really thought the 10-year was pretty good. Pressman, I haven't had a scotch I really got into. Definitely a bourbon and rye guy. Yeah, Pressman, that's what I've been for, the last few years. I've just really been into rye and bourbon. But here and there, some of my buddies that are really into scotch had given me some tastes of some different things, and I think I'm more curious about it than really kind of into becoming a normal part. What's nice is bourbon's a lot cheaper than scotch. I think the cheapest scotch I saw was Monkey Shoulder for like $30, but all the rest of them go to like 50, 60, and they get really high prices depending on the years. But I will actually put a 12-year-old bourbon against a 20-year-old scotch any day of the week, just because of the way it's aged. Scotch is generally pretty dreary, and Scotland is pretty dreary where it ages. And then you have, bourbon, which is aged in Kentucky. So you have all the crazy different types of weather. It just can age a lot faster. Richie Z, what did you think of that Michter's Unblended Scotch American Wiki? It's like candy delicious. Yeah, Richie Z, I agree. That stuff is it's vanilla cream. It's like vanilla ice cream. It's so sweet, but so good. What I like to do with the Michter's American is, it doesn't really need it, but if you add like 2 drops of water to it, it turns into it's like drinking like vanilla ice cream. It's so good. It's delicious. I agree. All right, guys. So before we sign off, like I said, all September, I'm going to be doing all scotches. This way it'll give me some time in September to try to get some of the newer bourbons, all these fall bourbons that come out in September that I could review to finish out the year. Like I mentioned earlier, so tomorrow I want you guys to look out for my barrel proof mashup. It was a blind tasting of 4 different barrel proof bourbons that I did. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, the B518, Booker's Backyard Barbecue, Woodford Reserve Batch Proof, and George T. Stagg Batch 10. I did all 4 of those blind, and like I said, the results were pretty surprising to me. But it was a great experience, and there's nothing like doing some blind tastings. It's great to try to figure out what you really like, what you think you like. You probably don't, but things could change depending on your taste buds, so it's pretty good. So look out for that tomorrow. Definitely watch it. And like I said, wait to the very, very end, because with all the high proof stuff, I start getting a little, I start feeling that alcohol, and I do some kind of silly at the end, and I kind of kept it on the end of the video. So that's a little bit of a preview for you guys. So, thanks guys for joining in. Great show. Can't wait for more reviews. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reviewing all this stuff, guys, and you make some better whiskey decisions, and just enjoying some whiskey with you. So thanks for coming on. Like I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with, like you guys. So cheers, and see you next time, guys.